Hi Linnea, time for one last late night homework session and my reflection on my experience in your capstone course. I have several highlights from this class. Certainly considering job versus calling as different ends of a spectrum. That's something that I've been thinking about throughout my career is, why am I doing this particular job at this particular time? So it was interesting to hear what the authors had to say in the text. I was really taken by their notion that career is a completely separate dimension, and I am a big fan of the phrase unquenchable careerism. I think I've seen that in action. Also, I enjoyed working on articulating my work philosophy, particularly because it introduced me to the article written by Clayton Christensen, How Will You Measure Your Life? I found that very impactful. It's an article that I've shared with several people, including my own manager, who is preparing to retire in the next year to year and a half. Also gave me an opportunity to rediscover Gina Barreca. She's an author who I was introduced to back in 1993, just a few months after graduation. One of my professors suggested that I read her book, and it was really fun to read her again. She's still incredibly funny and insightful. Also, another big win for me is my e-portfolio. It's evolved, I've improved it, I'm much happier with its design, and it's really valuable to have that as a tool to explain to people and to demonstrate the different skills that I've had and the work that I've done. The feature project, wow, that allowed me to tackle learning a critical skill that's been on my to-do list for at least 3 years now. And, I've taken a step towards Python, but it's really important to take that first step, and that's been a great experience. I'll be sharing that project with some local journalists next week. Unfortunately, not in time to submit a second external portfolio review, but I am willing to let that go. And I'm willing to let that go in part because I'm just tired. It's the past 3 years have been pretty demanding. I've been working full-time, parenting teenagers. There was a pandemic, juggling assignments, and I know I have a lot more to do before I can launch myself in a new career, but I am looking forward to taking a bit of a break. Before I begin that break, I did want to address some of the questions that you'd asked in an email. It was late in February, I think. I didn't have the energy to put together the essay that you requested, but I did want to answer some of those questions. For me personally, I enrolled in CSU's journalism program because it was the first school on the list of search results. And I received prompt and thorough responses to all of my inquiries and a great deal of support during the enrollment process. And for me, it was a little bit complicated because tracking down my high school transcript, it's stored in cabinets in a basement in Toronto, Ontario. I mean, it's not even digitized. So I was grateful for the patience and the assistance of the staff that helped me through the enrollment process. So that is how I ended up at CSU Online. And yes, I think some sort of publication for online students I think that's an excellent idea. The experience of collaborating, receiving feedback, revising, editing, gauging audience interest, the thrill of a published article, I think all of those would be really beneficial. So in closing, thank you. Thank you. I've been really challenged by your courses. I've learned a great deal. And as for me personally, I have one more credit I need one more credit before I fulfill the requirements of my degree. And I'm hoping to work with those local journalists and finally write and publish that data-informed article on Medicaid performance in North Carolina. So if all goes well, I intend to visit Fort Collins in December to receive my diploma. And I hope I'll have the opportunity to meet you in person. Thank you. Take care.